Well, welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, to those of you, and then we got Lev. So, here's the interesting thing.
What?
Yesterday, we obviously substituted Malcolm with JoJo from Jers. Had an
Hey,
incredibly fun conversation with JoJo. But, a lot of people were texting me and DMing me and saying, hey, with everything that's going on right now, specifically between Trump and Zelensky and with Vladimir Putin,
yeah,
the Tomahawk weapons, and so on, you know, we would love to hear Malcolm's take on it. And
yeah.
so I spoke with Lev early this morning. And, one of the things that we thought we'd try
Hey,
to
Michael,
do,
I'm having trouble. I'm going to jump off. Send me
uh,
another invite. Send me an
will
invite
do.
right now.
Yeah, we hear you fine. Okay. So, people were asking, hey, tell us about, what do you think Malcolm would say? And my comment, of course, is only Malcolm can speak for Malcolm. And so thankfully, we've got you once again in your vehicle.
Not mine. I'm being
Yeah.
chauffeured, baby.
All right. Well, do me a favor. Tell me
Much better.
tell me your tell me your thoughts on what do you think's going on there between Trump, Zelensky, Trump, a 2.5 hour phone call with
Yeah.
Putin. You think they talked about golf?
Yeah. They talked about a lot more than golf.
Funny.
Funny you should mention it. Last night I was giving a speech in Raleigh, North Carolina, and this question came up. And I quoted both of you about the behaviors of Trump with regards to Putin and what's going on. First off, all of this to me is a dance, a giant negotiating dance, where he went hard on Zelensky, then soft on Zelensky and hard on Putin, then calls Putin, for his little Pootie Poot conference in Alaska, and now then went hard on him. We're going to give him tomahawks, and now is coming back. These seem to be negotiating strategies to get access to oligarch money. This doesn't seem to be tied to any decent part of U.S. foreign policy. I don't see it. I don't see where there's any benefit in this. And then he calls Putin for 2 hours, makes a phone call. Russia tells him, we don't want you giving Ukraine Tomahawk cruise missiles. And Trump's like, well, maybe I will, maybe I won't. And now it's essentially, no, I won't.
Did you hear his comment, Malcolm, when they were asking him about that? And he goes, Russia doesn't want to fuck around with the U.S., with the United States of America. I mean, look, as everybody knows, the three of us have potty mouths. All right.
Yes.
So it's not like, oh my God, Donald Trump said fuck around. Okay. Big deal.
Right.
It is a big deal. Right. I mean, and then you had J.D. Vance sitting there like a 4-year-old smiling and shaking. Donald said fuck it around. Donald said fuck around. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? I mean, is this amateur hour going on over there? By the way, nothing would make me happier than to see Ukraine get their hands on a series of Tomahawk missiles because Putin is petrified of them. He knows on any given Tuesday and twice on Sunday, they can shoot a Tomahawk right into his fucking bedroom.
Right. And it will hit within 3 feet.
I love you, and absolutely, he is definitely Putin scared. But let's stop with the bullshit. I mean, this
All
is
right,
the
tell us.
entrance. We've been talking about this for months. I told you 2 months. This Alaska. This is the same place. It's 2-week Donnie back in effect again, prolonging it, making it. Listen. Don't look at what they say. They say a lot of different bullshit. Look at what they do. They've been talking about giving Ukraine weapons for 9 months. They've been different ways through NATO, around this way. But what have they been doing? They've actually held back, weapons 3 times. Hexag, Trump, however you want to call it. Then they talk about he's going to be hard on Putin. Sanctions, this. It's not hard on Putin. The only one he sanctioned was India. And even India yesterday, just think about this. He came out and said, India is not going to buy oil, Russian oil. India came out and said, we don't know what the hell he's talking about. We never came out and said that. But not only that, guess who the what's it called? The ambassador of India is. You want to guess? You want me to tell you?
No.
Sergio Gore. Sergio Gore.
Ah,
Russians plan that was so that's the anymore. I'm just giving you some of the dots. The other thing is, again, now the interesting part, where is the meeting happening? Budapest, Hungary.
yeah.
Viktor Orban. Think of what why. And today, when Trump was asked why Hungary, he goes, because we are both respected and liked by that man. Both him and Putin are respect. Like, this is fucking insanity. This is like stupidity. And now you got poor Zelensky sitting there asking. He's not getting no tomahawks. They were
No.
never planning on getting any tom. And now for the next 2 weeks, he's going to continue bombing, because let me tell you guys, and that you guys unleashed, everybody need to listen and pass this message on. This was pre-planned a long time ago. They were promised. The people involved was Jared Kushner, Stephen Witkoff, and
Right.
Kirill Dmitriev. The plan was just like you saw what happened in the Middle East, where Bibi Netanyahu promised Trump that if he gives them full reign, he'll wipe out Gaza, and then they could use that as their real estate property
Right.
and all of that. Ukraine was the same thing. The problem is Putin can't get it done. That's why Trump is frustrated. He can't understand. Even today, he said it doesn't look good on Putin. He should, in front of Zelensky, he said he should have taken out the whole Ukraine in a week. Doesn't look good on Putin, because Trump cannot, because he was sold by Witkoff and them that Russia's this powerful army. They're going to come in there as long as Trump comes in and stops giving them weapons, taking the NATO and disrupting him, disrupting the European allies, which Trump did everything Putin asked. But Putin can't get the job done. So they keep pushing the line, pushing the line. And now this is where I'm a little bit worried about, Malcolm, and this is what I wanted to ask you, is what I'm hearing from some of my sources, and I've been hearing it for a while, that there's been a major plan of that Russia's planning some sort of all-out. Again, I'm not military. I can't understand what it could be on what side, but Alex has also been mentioned something like that, and that this delay right now for the next 3 weeks is part of basically Putin on that call yesterday. What was said was, she told Trump that 2 more weeks, I'm going to put Ukraine on their knees, and then you could come in and save another war and put another notch for your Nobel Peace Prize type of thing.
Yeah.
Because Ukraine I'm going to put them on their knees. Could they do that? Can they do
Yeah.
that in the next couple of weeks, Malcolm? Is that possible?
It always brings to mind this question. You and what army? Right? There is no Russian army. That line is a fragilely holding line for Russia. And if they go on the offense, you've already seen they will lose 10,000 dead to gain 2 kilometers. And then when they broke through, they did that accidental breakthrough about a month and a half ago. The Ukrainians cut them off and decimated them. They've captured as many as 5,000 Russians. So, and they've killed, equally a greater number. So, you and what army? Is he planning on using the soldiers, these new raw recruits from the latest surge? They barely can put them into uniform, much less go out and do a major offensive action. You got to get through landmines. You got to get through rockets. You got to get through millions of drones. The Ukrainians have 1 million drone per annum capacity now.
You know what I thought was actually the funniest part of these conversations?
Yeah, what's that?
Trump was basically patting himself on the back that, Putin basically turned around and said to him, "Sir, don't give them the tomahawk, sir." And thanking the first lady for her noble, actions in working to get the children of Ukraine returned to Ukraine, those children that were taken by Russia, and then scattered across the country. I mean, it's amazing how I don't know how this country existed for 250 years without the Trump family doing all the incredible, marvelous, humanitarian things that they have done. I just don't know how we existed, because it seems like, Russia did something which I find to be
No, but Michael, can I just one second, just to add to what you're
unthinkable.
saying, the sick part about the children part. You have Kirill Dmitriev, you have Putin, you have Putin's mouth coming out praising fucking Melania for her efforts in caring about the children that they fucking stole.
Look,
This is
not
insane.
one, and not one of
They took 30,000 fucking kids, and now
21.
Melania, it's good that you, and now you got Kirill Dmitriev. I'm sorry, Michael. Go ahead. Because I'm
No, there's 21,000 kids were kidnapped, right? That are still lines. And look, these people know the only way to communicate with the Trumps is to manipulate them. I have constantly said this man is a KGB manipulation officer. That's what human intelligence officers do, case officers. They lie to you, they cajole you, they act as a used car salesman. And by her sending that letter, the Russians are like, let's kiss her ass all day and all night. Not one shot will ever be returned. Not one.
Think about how grotesque something
Disgusting.
like what Russia did. You go in, you invade, you kill, and you kidnap children. You take them from their families, and then you provide them to other families in Russia who either don't have children, who have lost children, whose children are right now fighting in this stupid war. And then all of a sudden, to thank the First Lady of the United States for her humanitarian effort, to the people who actually took the children, and they thanked them too, as Lev was just saying. This is so batshit crazy. I don't know whether to laugh. This is almost like a South Park episode.
It really is. It really is. And if I can point out, J.D. Vance as Tattoo in South Park is the perfect example of what he really is in real life. Sitting there, boss, would you like a massage? I
But
mean,
by the
this
way,
is just absolutely
it's not
stupid.
just Shady Vance. It's every single one of them.
Oh my God,
I
yeah.
just watched Byron Donalds sit there, and he's a member of Congress from Florida, from Hollywood, Florida. How this fucking moron became a member of Congress, I don't know. But they asked him a very straightforward question about whether or not Trump should give to Zelensky these tomahawks. And his response, not surprising to any of you, began by praising the supreme leader.
Oh my God.
Nobody else but Donald Trump could possibly have gotten Vladimir Putin on the phone for 2.5 hours within which to discuss the possible. I mean, you sit there and you say to yourself, are you fucking high? Right? Have you sucked down too many fucking gummies?
Well, first off, let's talk about Byron Donalds. I love that guy in Django Unchained, right? So, he played Steve in The House Slave. That guy is a weirdo. He's a former convicted drug dealer. He had marijuana convictions, right? Sale and distribution of marijuana. And he said Jesus is what brought him to Congress. But right now, all of them are just North Korean news puppets,
Yeah.
right? Who are will sit, every word out of their mouth has to be praised Trump first, not anything that affects the American people. Also, who was it that screwed up this week that did not actually say Trump is the greatest president in U.S. history? Somebody was asked on a congressional hearing, and they failed to say that Trump was the greatest president in U.S. history. Is an insult to anyone. I mean, to George effing Washington. Right? Abraham Lincoln, John F. Kennedy. These people are delusional. But if you don't say that, you're going to get kicked out of power.
what's more of an insult to the people, to all of us, to everybody that is even is what they're literally doing. Like, yes, just think about. I want you to hear. So the media is out there saying, is Donald Trump going to give him weapons or not? Is Donald Trump going to, in 2 weeks? Here we go again. Remember the whole Alaska thing? So now again, not to talk about Epstein, not to talk about the shutdown, not to talk. Now we're going to talk about for 2 weeks about a meeting that's supposed to happen in Budapest, and if Donald Trump is going to do peace. But let's understand what's actually happening, not conversation. What's actually happening is you have Vladimir Putin's right-hand man that is a sanction here in the United States. His name is Kirill
Right.
Dmitriev. He has been a
Yeah.
part of all of this since 2017 with Kushner and Witkoff. They've been together in this, okay? And he is now openly, if you go to his, and I ask each and every one of you, go to Twitter, go to his Twitter site, Kirill Dmitriev, and take a look. This is a man right now that is retweeting, praising Donald Trump like he is God himself. I've never seen something like that. Not only that, what is he doing else? They have just handed over to Anna Paula Luna, Congresswoman Anna Paula Luna. Just think about it. Yeah, this is another congresswoman like Byron Donaldson. Malcolm told you her backstory. Was she used to be a dancer. Now she's all of a sudden congresswoman. They all found God. Great. Congress is great. So she is now taking files about JFK, not from our intelligence, not what Donald Trump probably, from the KGB.
No.
The
From
KGB.
KGB.
KGB, yes. The KGB is now handed over. So now Kirill Dmitriev is now touting and applauding and saying the truth is now going to come out. So now what Paula is doing further is now they're setting up a meeting. And Donald Trump said today about trade. That he said out of his 2.5 hour conversation, the important, interesting part was that they spent a lot of time talking about trade. Anna Paula Luna is inviting Dmitriev here to talk about trade. So you tell me, folks, you think they're all talking about trade? We're about to have an announcement that this oligarch, whoever he is, that probably was sanctioned prior to this, but now is going to come and invest billions of dollars into some, whatever it is here all of a sudden. And you're going to tell me he's going to give tomahawks to Ukraine and he's going to go again. I mean, like this is insanity. Like, I mean,
Yeah, but here's the kicker: for Dmitriev to actually come here, Trump himself and what's his name, Marco Rubio, as Secretary of State, they have to waive his ability to travel on sanctions.
They did it. He was here
Oh
already
my
twice.
God!
He was already
It's
here
like
twice.
they all work for
Twice.
Moscow.
He was here twice.
Ay,
Twice
ay, ay.
already.
The funny thing too, what makes no sense to me about this whole notion of they all work for Moscow? I want each and every one of you, and by the way, my counter never works. Lev, how many people do we have with us right now?
I think around 1,000.
About 1,000.
So let's do this, folks. Let's just keep smashing those red hearts. All right, we got Malcolm back today, and of course, I'm here with my buddy Lev. And take that square with the up arrow and share this because this shit's important. So I often think if the goal is to get into bed with Moscow, right? That for whatever the reason is, Trump believes Moscow or even Qatar or Saudi Arabia, that they have significant money and so on and so forth. And that in order to grab that money, you have to kiss their ass. You have to do things like what Lev just said, to invite a guy to this country who's on the sanctions list, to set up these fake sort of these plans, these programs where they're ultimately, as Donnie 2 weeks is never going to give those tomahawks. Let's talk some reality. If you took the entire GDP of Saudi Arabia, of Qatar, and Russia combined, we are still more than 60 times bigger in our GDP than they are. All right. Our GDP is $27.82 trillion. The three of theirs combined doesn't even amount to 14 trillion.
Yep.
Okay? Doesn't even come close to 14 trillion. I think it comes to about $10 trillion. So why would you kiss the ass of somebody who is that much smaller and weaker combined with two others? It's almost like um a world champion boxer or mixed martial artist capitulating to a 15-year-old.
Can I grab that one first, Malcolm? Just quickly.
Well, let me let me intervene real quick.
Go ahead.
There's Scrooge McDuck money out there in Trump's eyes, right? There may be as much as $500 billion in sanctioned money that is not leaving Russia. Trump wants access to that money. When he looks at Qatar, he wants access to whatever money he can get. He looks at Saudi Arabia. He'll take whatever money he can get from that. He just wants to swim in the gold, right? Like I said, like Scrooge McDuck. He is building a personal brand empire, which he thinks will last forever. Him, his sons, and then he'll come out of this with, $100 billion at
He
the
made
end.
more
especially-
than that already. That's the whole point. He's already made
$10
$10 billion. He's made $10 billion since
Since
he
he
became
got elected,
president-elect.
The key to what you guys are saying, both of you, that the key to it, it's not the Michael 13 trillion for the country. He's not thinking about what it does for the country. He's thinking about those are corrupt countries that are willing to make him rich, willing to invest into his family's businesses, into their Bitcoin properties, into their stuff. So this is what it is. By the way, I gotta come back, folks. Mike, give me like 10, 15 minutes, because actually Ben Midas just asked me to. I gotta give him a call. I'll be right back. I'll be right back, guys.
Yeah. So Malcolm,
Mike.
look, and this is just the beginning. As we sit there and we watching the international playing field getting just decimated in terms of stupidity. But now, and I have a very different view than most people in terms of Trump and what he's doing here back at home with these indictments. And I'm 3 for 3. Actually, I'm going to be 4 for 4. As proven by MSNBC, where weeks ago I said the first one will be Comey, then it'll be Tish James, then it'll be John Bolton. I believe next will probably be Adam Schiff. I made these calls long before everybody else did, and not because I'm clairvoyant, simply because I understand the strategy. Now, I listen to these pundits coming on TV and saying it's not going to work. Comey will end up dismissing the case through a summary judgment motion. The same with Tish James. It's like $6,000 or $16,000 a year in difference and blah blah blah. And I disagree with all of that. I know what Trump is thinking, and I understand what he's intending to do. While he may have turned around and said, "Yeah, we're going to go after these folks," I get that. He did say it. Now, I don't have to be the one to say he did, he didn't. Everybody heard him say it, and he didn't say it once. He said it many times. Here's what ultimately they're going to say to the American people. Here's what the prosecutors will say to the judges. Does it really matter whether or not they were brought to indictment by Donald Trump, or they received the indictments because they broke the law? And for example, Tish James was the one that literally campaigned on getting Trump. And with this statement, as even Adam Schiff did and everybody has done, accountability matters and that no one is above the law. So here's what Donald Trump knows. Donald Trump knows that every single person out there, alive or dead, has done something that government, if they do a proctological examination on you, will find something that they can prosecute. In fact, it's why he's weaponizing the IRS, because the IRS was actually designed for the sole purpose of ensuring that there can always be a mistake. And many years ago, they changed the rules. They turned around and they said, the IRS has to be friendlier, not where simply in the olden days, you were guilty until you prove yourself innocent. And that got put to
Right.
rest where it was you're still innocent until the IRS has to prove you guilty and that they have to work with you. Now, I
Right.
myself happen to have seen what happens when the IRS doesn't work with you. In fact, the IRS doesn't even have an involvement with you, but you get forced by prosecutors to plead guilty. I get that. Trump understands humans. He understands people. And he knows that just like the book, 5 Felonies a Day, everybody has something in their lives that if government stuck their fists up your ass, all right, would be able to pull out the indictment and a conviction. And that's why I went on television and I said, every single one of these people that Donald Trump, or I should say his weaponized Department of Justice, indicts, will ultimately see accountability. Every single one of them. Ignore these fucking pundits with the fancy title chyrons. They're all
Right.
bullshitting you and they have no idea what they're talking about. But this is a masterclass in authoritarianism.
Yeah. Well, he's on a vengeance tour. And he's made it clear he's on a vengeance tour. And it's so wrapped in his psyche that he doesn't care if him saying, I am getting revenge on you for having said bad things about me or blah, 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 and that it will ruin the prosecution. Yeah, I think it's more about the trigger in his head that he has to show to MAGA he will frog march. He will have people perp walked out there.
He's going to do more than just perp walk them. These folks will be
I'm
held
saying.
accountable. I listen to all these geniuses turn around and say they're going to be making motions for summary judgment that, oh, this is a ticky-tack type of case, that Lindsay Halligan doesn't have prosecutorial experience. Let me be crystal clear, and I've said this many times, and I'm going to say it to each of you, because here on Unleashed,
Doesn't matter.
despite Lev not being here, all right, we don't lie to you, we don't bullshit, and we certainly don't hold back our punches. If you broke the law in Trump's Department of Justice's eyes, you need to be held accountable. Even if it's a small fracture of the law, this is where they will throw the full book at you. Do you know that the sentence guideline for Tish James's mortgage fraud allegation, which is somewhere under $20,000, carries with it up to 60 months of incarceration? 60 months. Imagine that for
And they're going to
$20,000.
go for it.
And they are going for it, and
They're going to go for it.
and they will bleed people dry of their money in the defense. They have unlimited time, they have unlimited resources, they have the ability to change the game. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Tish James or you're Elon Musk. You are never stronger than the government, nor are you ever richer than the government. And government will do everything, especially when they are doing it to appease one man's ego, to appease one man's statements, to his base. They will ultimately bring these folks to their knees. And I say that not because I am here as a defender of Trump. To the contrary, I say it because each and every person must now be not just afraid, petrified is more like it, that if you fall into the ire, not just of Donald Trump, but Malcolm, for example, if Stephen Miller has a hard on for you, or you say something about a Laura Loomer, or you say something about, I don't know, Joe Rogan, or you say something about, I don't know, whoever that's there. You say something about Pete Hegseth that he doesn't like. Next thing they know, there's a phone call to Pam Bondi. Next thing, there's a phone call to Kash Patel. And next thing you know, you're the one showing up downtown to the courthouse in order to plead not guilty. Join the fucking line. And that is danger. It is danger to our country, and it's a danger to our democratic republic.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And, as far as I'm concerned, every one of those people can kiss my black ass. But we do have to be aware of what you've told everyone, which is the government coming after you is a machine.
Machine? I wrote an entire book on it. In fact, Malcolm, you remember when I was actually doing research, you and I spoke about it. How
Yeah.
Donald Trump weaponized the United States Department of Justice against his critic. This book came out, published, all right, in 2023, all right, or 2022 yep, first published in 2022 is when I ultimately finished it, all right. Let me be crystal clear. We are right now in very dangerous times. Speaking of dangerous times, as you all know, tomorrow is a big day. And by the way, if you want your copy, just DM me and I'll tell you how to get it. But tomorrow is a very, very important day. It's important not because there's going to be millions of people that is showing up. No, that's not, as I wrote in my Substack today, not not because people are going to show up, because what they're doing right now is they're trying to get people to become apathetic, to
Right.
resign to the fight. And the second we resign to the fight, we lose. And when we lose, you kiss this democratic republic adios. And I am not fucking joking. Tomorrow is not about the demonstration. It's about us. It's not about Trump. It's about us turning around and saying, all right, we're not going to take it. Oh no, we ain't going to take it. Malcolm, we're not going to take it anymore.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
You want to
And you
sing
know
it?
what?
You want to sing it?
Yeah, no, I don't want to say it.
We're not gonna take it. No.
Well, good point to be made. And everyone who is listening, you've got to do something for No King's Day, no matter what it is. Sit in your front yard and wave a banner. Get in a folding chair and sit in a park and wave a banner. I'm going to be in a couple of protests, and then I'm doing my highway overpass takeover. So I'm going to be out there because you know what? This is too important to let go.
Yeah, I mean it's not a joke. Truly not a joke.
All right. Hey,
Well,
listen, Mike, I'm headed into the boondocks here. You're going to lose me.
yeah, and I
So,
want to say, you got it, Malcolm. Thank you for joining. We're going to call this thing an afternoon. Um, I will speak to you soon. Hey, folks, Malcolm,
all right.
Gracie, you drive carefully, brother.
All right.
So, my friends, again, like what Malcolm was just saying, make sure tomorrow you don't do nothing. And it's one thing if you're, for example, far or you're outside of the country and you're not able to, or there is no King's rally in your area, then you get on and you follow and you keep doing what you're doing right now. But those of you that have no King's rallies taking place in your cities, in your towns, you make sure that you show up because the visual means something. It means something. All right. And I've been saying this for a long time. Peaceful protest. Do not let them bait you. Do not engage. You're there to walk, to carry a sign, to do whatever it is that you can do, but without violence, because that's what they want to see. That's exactly what they want to see. Violence so that they could send the military, the National Guard, the police in to quell these rallies. And so, again, my friends, to those of you that want the book, just DM me. Other than that, I will be back on. I think I'll be back on at around between 5:30 and 6. I haven't figured it out for my paid subscribers only. So if you are a paid subscriber, just check. You'll be getting a notification Make sure you write your questions down and be prepared to come up to be live with the rest of the community. No more bullshit about, oh, my hair's not done. Oh, I just got out of the shower. I'm not dressed. I know, right? Clothes on, hair done, looking good. All right. Let's have some fun, and let's also continue the is extremely important conversation. So thank you all. Yes, I am going out. I will be out there tomorrow as well. So thank you all for joining us. Stay safe and make sure that you stay active and that you do something today, tomorrow, because that's where the real fight starts. Not tomorrow, not finishing, sending you videos, uplinking hashtags. It's the day after, and the day after that, and so on. So everybody, again, thank you for joining. See you all very, very soon.